everybody. Special episode tonight as we start new formats and new things. We got the one and only Victor back, as we know, brought back by popular demand and vote. But we also got a very special guest tonight, Samuel Schmucker. Now, I tell you, I came across him in a film group, and he had like links and stuff. And I have to say, you've created quite a little empire, like very nice, neat, everything all in order. I like that. I can appreciate that.
Thank you.
And I appreciate people that put work into what they do and enjoy what they do, whether it is film, whether it's podcast, whatever it is, if you're doing it yourself, you don't got all this backing and big money, do the best you can, or at least try. That's how I always look at it. Don't half-ass stuff. And, but like I said, I went through some of your links, not everything, just a little bit. And I was like, you have your stuff together. When did you start this journey? When did you start into the filming and filmmaking and getting into film?
Well, that was by an accident, and it started by me doing security. I was working a pizza job. After a while, I kept getting these orders to go to next door. It's a music venue called The Vogue, and they kept getting catering orders for the bands. So eventually, after that transpired, the managers knew me. They was like, "Hey, you interested in coming over here and doing security?" I'm like, "Does it pay more?" They're like, "Yeah." So I started doing that, and I was there for a while till they rearranged some things and got rid of some of the ones that were 90 days. And I'm like, yeah, I can come down. Well, I came down, but I ended up being in the movie because he didn't have a guy and he needed a guy, so I filled in for that. And then later, I just found another one and found another one. Lately, it's hard to find because the 9 to 5 job, it's hard to get places, gas, and most of them, all these were little to no pay. So I said, I'm tired of doing this. I want to make movies. I want to be involved. So I just took my iPhone one day and decided to go make a movie. And when it was all said and done, I came up with Jason in Indianapolis, and then we just recently finished our second one.
That's awesome. I think the big difference in today's filmmaking world compared to maybe 20 years ago. It's like you don't need to go and invest in a $20,000-$30,000 camera and all this extensive stuff. If you got a good phone and you got a good editor and you know what you're doing out there and you're planning your shots and everything, you can do some really nice stuff with the phone right now. There's some really good apps. There's some really good professional, even lenses you can attach to the actual phone to make shots wider or different angles and so forth. And this allows people to do things like that on a smaller budget without having to invest. Because let's say you want to make a movie, you invest, you buy a 20,000 camera. Okay, well now you need a camera operator, you need this, that, sound guy, all this stuff. You can get away with a lot of that with the phone. It's easier, it's more portable, and again, the quality is right up there. I use both a Blackmagic and my phone because I can mirror the results of the Blackmagic from the phone and use two cameras.
Yep. I haven't had a chance to use a Blackmagic, but a friend of mine had a Sony cinematography camera that we filmed some of Georgie's Return on, and it was more easier for my editor to play with the footage and the sound and everything from that camera than it was the iPhone, because the cinematography has like several different lines of audio and different lines of video that you can play with.
Yeah, no. When I use my phone now, unfortunately, like I use everything in log, so it's great, but it's like 50 gigabytes for like 10 seconds of video. You're reading through memory, but it's the closest thing as you're going to get to when you got to go and color grade and everything on the post-production, comparing it to the other camera. So it's like you can get there, but it is harder to edit a little bit if you want to match.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the whole thing on the phone, it's fine. And you can buy, I think, there's plenty of stuff that you can buy to attach for sound to the phone. You can buy external mics, all of that. But I like that idea. I like the idea that people can do this. I've seen movies, that you can purchase from, major distributors that, at the end will say shot on an iPhone, whatever.
Yep.
and it just it gives people another, tool to use that wasn't available to them. Now, you said, the movie was Georgie Return. That was your first film that you put out?
No, Jason in Indianapolis was the first film. It was we started it in 2023, I think, and it came out last 2024. We started working on Georgie's Return in 2025, and when it just recently got done. We've got three different trailers out right now for it.
That's awesome. And you wrote on, I take it, the first film, you wrote it yourself?
The story concept, yes. I wrote both stories, both ideas of what I wanted to do. And Georgie's Return, my editing team, which is Tony and Ange from Angified Presents, they do all the editing, the sound, the music, and everything, and get it all my footage, what audio that I'm able to get for music from bands that I know, I submit it to them, and then they package it all up to what we got. And so with Georgie or with Jason, I did it all from start to finish. But with Georgie, they've done half, if not more. They've done more work, honestly, to be perfectly honest. They put in more work than I did to give it the concept we got, to give it a story base, to give it a better understanding of a plot for why is Georgie back type feel. So, and there's a lot of homage and tribute to Stephen King outside of just being Georgie from It. There is a lot of little Easter egg references that kick back to It. Stephen King trying to follow his footsteps of what King himself did.
So would you say both of the films, are both kind of like fan films, or like
Yes,
fan
both are fan
renditions?
films. Um,
Nice.
in order to make like in order to make a take a franchised film or a copyrighted film such as It and take a character from it and do something and not be a fan film, you had to pay for the
You have to
licensing
pay a
and
lot of
everything.
money,
Yeah,
yeah.
you it was
I was
like
gonna say, I mean, fan films are
15,000.
great. The only thing with fan films, I believe, is if I heard it right, because I went to a panel and there was a guy that did Never Hike Alone. It's a Jason fan film,
Yep,
and
I know the guy.
yeah, and he was talking, and basically, it's you can't really make any payoff of it. All the you can't make money off of certain things. Part of it, you can sell stuff, I believe, but you can't. Like
You
you can
can't
sell
make
the
money off the
product.
film itself. Like
Yeah,
I have DVDs for Jason, and while I can't sell the movie, what I do is you could get a movie by purchasing an autograph, and it'll
yeah.
be on the movie.
You sign the autograph of the directors. You get the director's
Yep.
autograph or whatever. Or you get an 8x10 poster signed, and hey, it comes with a movie. Coolio. Um, and you also got to give it to free to the public, but it opens it up to now this film can be seen, it can be shown. And I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of fan films are honestly fun because a lot of franchises you want to see go in a certain way, you think they should go in a certain way, and you never can do anything about it. And since because they're behind such paywalls, or some of them even get locked out, like Jason, you couldn't touch it.
Yeah,
You
they had a
know,
lawsuit for
yeah.
decades.
So with all that, it's like I love to see where people go with it. Someone just put out I think it was a Halloween one a couple of months ago, and I thought
Yep.
they did a really decent job with it. Like I said, that Never Hike Alone in the Woods. I do now plan on seeing Jason in Indianapolis. I usually watch my horror movies at night, or early in the morning when I'm less distracted. As Vic could tell you, there's always either a kid or a wife in the picture running around. Um,
Same here.
but that's the life. I wouldn't change it, but it's kind of hard to watch a film that way. And at least, soak it in. I like to watch a film, soak it in, look for things. Like I said, a lot of Easter eggs. I love movies with Easter eggs and different things like that. Now, I'm guessing you were a fan of the original Friday the 13th franchise itself.
I'm a fan of all the original horror villain monsters. Yeah, it's not just one in particular. I'm a fan of all of them. I plan on making in the future. I have scripts now for each one of them guys, and Jason again, Michael Myers, Freddy. Uh, I'm not doing Saw or Scream. Chainsaw Massacre, I haven't decided on. I have a script for it, but I wrote a bunch of fan film scripts because
Don't
I
you
need.
know a Leatherface, Vic? You know a Leatherface. You had him on your show one time. Your mic is muted.
I had him one time in the beginning. He told me if I talk about it, he'll kill me. That's why my mic was muted.
Well, at least you follow direction.
So you got to.
It was like I can't even unmute you because it said you chose to mute yourself. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's new. That's a new function. But no, I like that. But do you ever get like nervous that like people that the haters are gonna come out, the people that are gonna be like, you're killing the original or this or that? Does it ever like kind of come across your mind?
Oh, I've had it. I've had it many times. I choose to in Facebook on comments. I used to just go in there and delete them, delete the comments and under my post, and block them if they were too derogatory. Now, I don't even bother. I don't respond. I just leave the messages there. I'm strong. I'm strong and mentally strong enough. I got a good little fan base. I got good actresses and actors that are always returning back to do another project. So, with the haters, I just look at like let them hate because while they're sitting there at home on their phone, bored as freaking hell, typing out some dumbass message to try to hate on somebody, you know, and I don't know where I'm at. I could be sitting with Jeff Hardy at a wrestling show doing security, or I could be doing some photos with a band backstage, or I could be doing a movie, or I don't know. They're at home bored. I got stuff to do, and I'm doing stuff you can't pay for. You can't buy a ticket for it. So you
And
know,
that's the thing. I mean, as much as you want, you can say whatever you want. You can hate on whatever you want. But I mean, is there anybody else out there making a Jason film to any extent? It's like, well, no, not really. Well, let's see what you do. Here, here's a phone. Go get a costume, figure out some practical effects, and let me see what you can do with the idea. And then
yep,
come back to me and let me see what you got. And it's like, maybe they'll do better. Maybe they won't. Most of the time, they don't know what to do. I remember Vic used to be
that's
like
it.
that as well. He would, someone would come on and say something, be like, well, then you come on and try to do a better job. People would come on and be like silent or make a mockery or not be able to do it. And it's like, it's very easy to think we can do these things. It's all in baby steps. I'm not at a feature length yet. I'm still making shorts, 2 to 8 minutes because I know personally for myself, I'll get there. But right now, I'm still just playing around. I'm having fun. I don't do it for anything else but fun.
That's basically what I do it for. Right now, I mean, I'd like to break out and do other stuff and try to get paid for it because I like it. But it's not in the cards right now. I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, if people want to buy T-shirts or something, I mean, like I said, I made a few short films that are just whatever. Eventually, I have some, I've been talking to people because then you start to meet people. So, you know, you get to collab and then you work on all this, and hopefully more will come from it. And I picked up a couple of small acting roles, just for credit only.
Yep,
Because why not? I got nothing else to do, and to be honestly, personally, it's not all about the money. I'm not trying to make a living at making movies. Because if I wanted to do that, I would have done that 20 years ago. I'm a little bit old to start. I can get into it. Maybe I'll be successful. I know that there's many directors and people that didn't produce their, great films until they were older. But I don't look at it like that. I'm having fun. If it takes me, it takes me.
yep,
Similar to what I did with YouTube, similar to what we do in podcasting. You know, try to have fun with it. Once the fun's gone and you feel like it's a job, then it's just like, it's one more drag in life.
exactly.
But no, I do appreciate, like I said, a good fan film and a good, like I said, seeing people's creativity, what they can do, how they can rewrite, how they can rework something. and still make it fascinating. We know it's not going to live up to the original. It'll be very, very hard for any director right now to come in, and that's remakes, major remakes at that, and try to get that 80s feel in there. We've seen it happen many a times, and it fails.
Yep.
But you can get close to the nostalgia. And sometimes the fan films or the people, the independent people, can get close to that nostalgia, honestly, than the Hollywood people. Because the Hollywood people got all this big budget in their head, and they want all these ideas. And for the independent director, they've got this idea of a cool scene they want to see Michael Myers do, or freaking Freddy Krueger do, or something. And it's as simple as that. I would like to see Freddy do A, B, and C, and they just make it happen.
Yep, that's how they do it.
And like you said, you put together a good team. How does that happen? How do you like reach out to people? How do you find people to do your first film?
Indiana, here we have a bunch of groups on Facebook, like probably every other state does, and there's a ton of casting sites and actor sites. So I just made me a post one day and went in there and said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to make a movie. I don't know nothing about nothing. I don't know how to make a movie. We ain't got a budget. I got a camera. I got a script, and I need some actors." And after some hate and some, you can't expect people to work for free, and you can't make a movie unless you got a permit. All this, speed bumps that people were throwing in the way. I finally got a couple people that jumped in and say, "Hey, I've made this movie and I've done this." And so we just started talking, and after about 6 months I had a full cast, and I ended up adding a few more to it as time went down, and we got to first day of filming.
I mean, like anything in life, I remember like even in independent wrestling where we came from, doing a lot of podcasting and working that. There would be people that would be out there that would work for nothing or just work for, experience.
I've worked many wrestling shows for free. Many.
It happens, and people do it for the experience or because of the passion. And I believe that it's kind of the same with film. There's people out there that will do it for that IMDb credit or get, a little exposure, or because it's fun. They enjoy acting. And at the end of the day, it's hard to get another, maybe they don't want to do the stress and of having to freaking go audition for these high-end roles, so they just take free roles or lower roles just because it's fun.
Yep.
And yes, you need permits for certain things, but not for everything. I mean, speaking of wrestling, I ran a wrestling show in a cemetery. I didn't need any permit for that whatsoever. As long as nobody was injured, they didn't care. I film all the time in different locations that require no permit. It just depends on what you're using. If you're going to be shooting firearms or some kind of explosives, then yeah, obviously you need a permit. If you're going to go into, certain buildings, yes, you need permits. But there's other places or other ways around things. And honestly, every producer, filmmaker, director, everybody has their own places or their own people they know that be like, "Hey, we don't need a permit because I know such and such that works here. Or I know such and such that owns this joint. Or, I know Victor, he's got 20 acres of land. We can go film in his, backyard a movie for days." And everybody's got that kind of, little bit of, I know who and I know this. And that's what they bring to the kind of party when you get a little crew. But it's kind of neat to see it all come together because, a bunch of people that might have been strangers a week ago have all of a sudden are putting together a piece of art. And I think all film is art, whether it's good, bad, whatever it is. It's a piece of art. It's somebody's it's expression. It's somebody's expression of what they want to put out there. It's on video. It's on, cinema.
That's how I look at it. I look at with my favorite person of making films and how they got into it with Steven Spielberg. So, I always follow certain dynamics that he uses because it works, especially for someone like me that doesn't have the money. His concept of how he started off works perfectly for me. So that's what I've been doing. And like you said, you have a team around you. I got a makeup team. I got 2 permanent locations I can film at, and about at least 10 different actors that I can call on. Be like, hey, I'm getting ready to do a new project. You want to jump in? I'd be like, yeah. So it's always good to have that team because that team can also provide you with other things too.
Yeah, I mean, a team's a team. It's always easier to do things instead of doing things solo. And collabs, I think, are very beneficial in general. Um, and it's nice to have a bunch of people that believe in the same dream or believe in the same idea. I want to see it come to fruition. Um, because let's face it, sometimes we feel like we're alone with these visions of things we want to see, but then eventually we run into someone who says, "Oh, that's cool, man. Oh, I want to see that. Like, I would dig that." And it's just like, "Oh, that's awesome," because I thought I was the only one that freaking even wanted to even think about that.
Right.
And that's how
Yep.
films get made. It's like, okay, hey, two people are talking. Well, let's put it to work. What else can we add? And this and that. And no, Steven Spielberg is great. And I mean, I used to love to watch, a lot of like the behind the stuff on Star Wars and stuff, because that first film, he did every tip, trick, and everything to save a buck on that he possibly could, while making it a great film. The effects and everything were still at a period where it wasn't VFX. It was still very much, he was using micros and micro explosions and blowing toys up and shit. And this was kind of, to me, as a kid and even as I'm an adult, young adult, I thought that was very interesting because, you think of Hollywood, you think people are riding riding cars through streets and stuff. You never think that it's actually just little miniatures and shit going on a little table somewhere, and they're blowing things up, and it's just not even that big of an explosion. It's all microly done with just a very good lens, and it was very eye-opening to see kind of movies, how they were made, and it kind of got me into that kind of idea. Well, I could do stuff, not on that scale, but I could do stuff on a much smaller scale, or things are possible.
That's true. Yep.
And I think that's one of the fun challenges of, filmmaking and even indie filmmaking is, what can we do with what we got? How can we take everything we got and utilize it to make it cool, special, or stick out? And it can be just silly stuff. But, they'll turn bags into worms or snakes or a monster and do these crazy creative things that most people can't even think of. And it ends up being some kind of smash hit in front of the camera.
Yep. That's
Because,
true.
the magic of cinema is magical. I mean, what's in frame is only a piece of the little picture of what the rest of the disaster could look like.
That is true. Yep.
And I think that's some of the fun of it is a little challenge even to oneself is, if you do got a budget, how can I stay within? Or how can I save money? How can I show, an investor or a producer that I can even save money so they can make money on it? And also just kind of, like I said, utilizing what you got. It's not always about going out and getting everything that you hear about. Sometimes it's things at home that you already have that you can just reinvent or reutilize, or things from other movies can be reused. And even Hollywood does that. They'll reuse sets, props, things.
Yeah, for our next film, we got all kinds of little special effects we're going to use. It involves food and household items that we got to make some things look pretty gory that we've been playing with.
So I take it you use a lot of practical effects in your films?
Yeah.
I think that is the way to go, especially if you're playing with the slasher genre. Nobody wants to see a bunch of fake blood or fake kills. They want the
Now,
gore.
that's how Jason was, because it was our first one. The blood and everything else was, and we were a little bit rushed to get it done before the winter got here, so it was, for a first time film, it's bad, but it's also good, if that makes any sense. I'm
it
happy
makes
with it.
perfect sense. I mean,
This second film, though, it looks phenomenally better than our first one, and I'm hoping the third one we do that is going to be even better, because it's going to be in the same. It's original too. It's not a fan film. It's
the
an
third one's
original.
going to be an original film. So
Yes.
And that's that's going to be even into different territories. Because now you can market and shop that a little differently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's cool too. It goes to show that you can come up with original ideas because you don't, obviously. I could just see the Facebook people now. All you do is just take other people's ideas and make films and stupid shit like that. Facebook can be a very negative place, I have to say. It can be a great place too. I've met a lot of great people on there and been inspired, but I've also seen just a lot of negativity and just stuff that's just maybe like, oh, why did I log in today?
Yeah.
Facebook's becoming a couple years ago X with Twitter. You know how toxic Twitter got.
Yep.
Now Facebook's becoming the same way. It's getting worse.
That's true.
It's getting there in some aspect, but then that's why I just keep changing my circle or keeping it closer or just picking the right people. Sometimes it's just the right people. Like you said, the right team, having the right people around you, the right positive people, because a lot of it is positivity. You need a positive mindset to do any of these creative projects. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. You want to be positive going into it. You want to think, even if the cards are stacked up, just still, you're going in there to succeed.
Yep.
You don't want to go in with crazy expectation, but you don't want to go in with no expectation either. A little bit of confidence, there's nothing wrong with. I think that helps. But like you said, it's a learning process. You've already seen, the difference between your first and second film, and that's great to see. That means there's a learning done. If your first and second film look the same, then you could say, shit, I didn't learn anything.
Right.
It's like, damn, I didn't progress. I didn't, grow. But the fact that it even looks better and the blood is better and this is better and it's a little tighter and maybe the script's a little tight, everything's a little bit better, just goes to show the progress. And hey, I learned how to do this and I learned how to do that better. I mean, I remember my first short film wasn't even a short. It was like 20 minutes too long. Just kept rolling. I was like, But I just took it as, you know what? I know how to do things and I know where now I'm going to, write my scripts a little bit differently because I have no idea what the hell I was doing. I have ideas. I write them down, tried to write in script format. It came out okay. But, it was just me doing everything. Me as the cameraman, me with a tripod, me doing the sound later on, me editing. So it's like, where do I want to invest the time into? And I'm just like, well, I need to act. I need to get the film done, and then I need to edit it so the shots look proper. So I guess those two things. But the next stuff I got coming up, I got a few people getting involved, and hopefully this weather gets better. That never helps when the weather's like this. Nobody wants to come out and play.
No.
I would have loved to take out. I have a 16 millimeter lens. I would have loved to take it out and get some like really wide shots of the snow and shit. And I was just like, I was all motivated this morning. And I was like, I'm knee high in snow. I'm not even going out.
Right. I was out shoveling today and it was nasty as hell.
Yeah, it's not fun, especially as you get older. My kid loved it. He was having a blast, but me, not so much. And it plays a part too. Like, I was supposed to do a little role tomorrow in a film. It got pushed a week back just because of weather. And I'm sure that's going across the board everywhere. Everything's getting kind of delayed. So it slows life down a little bit. It's just like but we are in the Northeast. I mean, I'm used to it anyways out here in Mass. You said you're from what, Indianapolis?
Yes.
Yeah, not too far. Vic's up in Vermont. You're still in
y'all are
Vermont,
cold.
right? They haven't succeeded off South Vermont yet to their own state, Vic. Brattleboro hasn't done a complete takeover.
Brattleboro's fucking just annoying on his own.
You should go film a documentary, a real dark, deep, gloomy one down there. It's the life in Brattleboro.
I could.
Do it like a 7-part docu-series like Vice used to do.
I thought you were coming down and do that for me.
I am. I'll come into your town. I don't care. I'm from Boston. You can't be scarier than Boston. It's just colder. But let me ask you, like your first film, what was some of the major challenges like doing it, making it? Did you run into a lot of issue? Was it kind of smooth sailing? What were your hard points and easy points?
Hard points was finding places to film. Easy points was filming it. Really, honestly, that was the easy point. Just getting there, shooting it, and getting it done. It was. We didn't have long days. We didn't have long sets. It was pretty much in and out. Only a couple different retakes, but for the most part, filming was the easiest. But trying to find certain locations like woods, because where I live at, everything around us is either a county park, a city park, or a state park, and anything else belongs to somebody. And so I put the feeler out in a couple of groups, and some guy was like, "Yeah, man, I got some woods out here right behind my house. I own like 10 acres. You're welcome to come out
Yeah.
here and film." I was locked in, so I ended up filming two scenes out there, and then we filmed the rest of it right here in my neighborhood, just on the street and in the alleys, and just I went down to my cousin, my sister-in-law, my kids' cousins, and did some work down there by their tree line and stuff while we were visiting. I was like, oh, I can use this. Hey, I'm going out here and film a piece for this movie. And they're like, all right. I went out and filmed it, and so yeah.
Setting it all up, and again, the woods are key for some reason. Like I know, like I said, like Vic got some land out there, good wooded areas. I go out there, shoot a little couple of wood scenes if I needed to. Because you're right, most of it either belongs to somebody or it's just like
Now I got a
state park.
location for woods. It I can film 50, 60 different spots in this place, and you'll never know it's the same woods. I found it a couple weeks ago. It's city owned, but it's not a park. It's a walking trail, and the woods are right off the walking trail, goes down to the river. So I was like, hey, do I need a permit to film back here? And they're like, not if you don't disturb the land. I'm like, bet. I ain't going to be no disturbing of no land. I got you. So that's
Yeah, I
going to be
mean,
in our next
honestly,
movie.
the only trouble I've ever gone into is once in a while the police will show up and be like, "Is everything okay?" Because somebody said that the noise level was too loud, and I'm like, "Yeah, we're filming a film." One time I was like, "Yeah, we're pro wrestling." They're like, "As long as no one's getting killed, okay."
Yeah, when I
I
had
mean, like I
my
said, it's just no, there's no explosions, there's no fireworks, there's no there's no high chase scenes. It's just very melodrama or people having an argument, and
well, we
somebody will
were
think it's real. The neighbors will think it's real or
they
something.
did. The neighbors thought mine was real. We was filming a scene for Jason, the opening scene back here, and a girl was. It was 10 o'clock at night. It was real dark. She was running down the alley, screaming her head off, while Jason was chasing her. Then when the kill scene come up, she was screaming more loud. By 10 minutes later, we're all in my backyard talking, having a cigarette, just going through the footage. Police showed up. They're like, "Hey, y'all need to come out here with your hands up. I have the Jason mask in my hand, and I'm holding the machete." And he goes, "Hey, sir," and he put his hand there. He goes, "Put that." I was like, "Hey, we're just making a movie, man. We're all making a movie. Hold on, let me put this down. Let me put this down. Look, we just made a movie. What are y'all filming?" I told him. He goes, "Oh no, shit. Can we finish? Can we watch?" I'm like, "Yeah, we got one more scene. I got to walk down the alley over here, but yeah, you can watch." They stood there, blocked the alley off for us while we filmed and watched it all. And they came up and said, "Hey, thanks. Can I get a picture with Jason?" I'm like, "Yeah, let me put the mask on." Took some pictures with the cops, and they walked off.
I would ask if we could use your car for a scene. Have the cops show up.
They,
You want to be
yeah,
close on cam?
I did ask about that one. I was gonna, because there's a cop scene in Jason where the cop pulls up, shoots Jason in the chest, and Jason gets up and kills him. The cops can't use their police cars because the logo's on it and the city stuff's on it, and unless I'm gonna pay the city, they ain't gonna let me use it. So I found a security guard that had the same like type of emblem, same car, type of uniform. He was a security guard, had lights and sirens on his car. He showed up and we did the scene, and just kind of kept the angles right so you can't see the logos or anything. And
they won't let you cover the logo up with something like another
mm-mm,
logo or anything. No,
nope.
and
Any
they
day,
won't let you re-edit it out either, huh?
they said it, and I had to pay like 500 to use the car in the background, 1,000 if I wanted an officer to be in the scene, if the officer was willing to do the scene. And it's only because liability of the car if something happened to the car, or the officer slipped and fell and hurt himself, things like that. There was all kinds
And
of little
plus
stupid
and
shit.
plus everybody is in uniform. The uniform is a legit uniform.
Yep.
And they're legit offices. I could see that. It's not like you hired a friend and got a car and rigged it as a cop car.
Yeah.
But then you get in trouble anyways. If you make a car from scratch into a cop car, you're gonna get busted with it.
Unless you're Hollywood, then you can get away with it.
Well, yeah. That's why whenever I see cop pull up to a house or somewhere, I just start filming that shit. So I'm like, you know what? That's free footage someday down the line. I'll say they showed up, blur it out, edit out everything, and just use it into a scene. Use it as the ending. The cops showed up. There's the end of the movie.
I did that
Good
a
night.
lot when they had the cops out here for Jason. When they had the cops out here, I'd go up by the cop car and I'd take the camera and I just film the lights, just the lights, and then I'd bounce off the side of a building so you can get the light flashing off and up the building. So I got all that. That's in Jason too. I found a lot of footage like that. Just something small you never know that you're going to use and be like, man, I need a cop scene. I need to put this in. I need flashing lights. That shows the
Yeah, because
cops are there.
it's just little things that can be used like that, which you don't even need to see a car or a cop. The people will know the cops are involved, and that's all
Yep.
you just need for the movie.
Just them lights is good enough. Now I got lights that do that, so I ain't even got to have a car. I just set them on the ground and let them flash against the building.
Just take the photo and take the
Yep.
video. It looks like the car's sitting there.
Then throw in the
And that's
police sound later.
that's the innovation of making movies and learning these tricks of the trade. And it's like, you know what? I just saved myself $500 on a cop car.
Exactly. And then with like
Wow.
some of the kill scenes, I never showed the actual penetration of the machete or the
No, you
actual
don't have
slicing.
to.
I showed it where from the behind where he slashes somebody and they fall. But I've got ideas for the new movie that I'm working on. I got new concepts to make it a little bit more gory, a little bit more bloodier. You can actually see something in the skin, the wounds. I'm getting more. We're moving forward. I got a makeup artist that does
It
prosthetic
plays a little bit
stuff.
more with the blood and the gore.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I like it, but I'm also a fan of the less is more. Like, I mean,
yep,
not for
less is
nothing. If
more.
you see a knife going towards someone's neck, you know it's going in. They're not going to stop shy. It's an end scene. You don't always got to show this. You don't always have to show the penetration. You don't always got to show the cuts. We know what's going to happen. We figure it out. Sometimes it's like I said, it's easier to do from the blood. It's easier to do in even like gun scenes. Sometimes you don't need to do the gunshot. This way now you can get away with the totally rubber gun. You don't need to do anything because you're
Our
not
gun
seeing anything.
shoots. Our gun shoots and has fire muzzle. And Jason, you could see it pop out.
We
It
had a
was.
starter pistol for a while, but then you need a permit to use it every time. Before you didn't. It was for
Yeah.
like racing. But now they want a permit every time because it shoots the blanks. And it
I
makes
put
the
the
pop.
sound
But
in afterwards though, because that was all special effects on the gun. He just came out like this and did it twice, and then we
yeah,
special effects everything else. So there wasn't no because when they
the muzzle
said,
flash and everything.
yeah, they was like, this is regular business hours. So if you fire any type of fake gun that makes a sound, you're gonna have to have a permit. And I'm like, because I had the cops there that day at the warehouse where we filmed that, and he was like, yeah. I was like, all right, man. Hey, when you pull your gun out, just act like you shoot me, and that's what we did. And my editor, he turned it out and made it look good.
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's the one thing you can do. You can change that, and And honestly, I mean, that's the one part of the movie where I don't mind a little VFX because we've seen a lot of tragedies happen with guns on sets in life in general.
Boy,
You know, from
yes, we
people like
have.
Brandon Lee to like, that latest incident there. It's just, it happens. I could see it happening even more in the independent movie circuit. Nobody wants to be the person that does it. Nobody wants to get shot.
Nope.
Just be safe. And like I said, I mean, I use props, and it's just like whatever. Like you said, I don't even. I had to make. I needed it for one scene, and I was like, on certain props, they still make you like have the orange rings. I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't want to show the ring in the video, so I was like, I'll start the scene with the gun right up to me. This way, you don't see this.
Yeah.
I'm going to fade to black. Then you're going to hear the gunshot. This way, you don't see anything. Then you're just going to see me drop. Now you don't see anything else. You don't see the splatter. It saved me a lot of time because it was for the ending of one of my short films. I was like, how am I going to end this? I got all these ideas written down, but I don't have at this time, I don't have a blood FX artist. I don't have anything going on right now. This is what I got. So I was like, okay, let me try to do as much off the camera, but on the camera at the same time that I can, and that's what I came up with, and it worked. It worked for what I needed, and if I ever needed to go back, I could refilm that ending and just throw it in there, and it would work just fine. But for what it did, it also passed all the YouTube safeguards, which is important too, because YouTube only has a certain amount of level of violence and gore they'll allow before they're like, you can't put your video up here.
Yep.
Then you got to go to like Vimeo, and then if not there, you got to just put it on your own website. But it's like YouTube still has its standards too. You got to kind of follow when you're making video, if you're making it for that point. I wasn't that particular film. I wanted it to go on YouTube, so I kind of also had to downplay the gore scenes. But no, like I said, I think it's interesting. The FX is interesting. Playing around with it. I did a lot with over the Halloween time, making like a lot of I don't know, like found bones, fake old bones, gory bones, bones with still skin and flesh attached. Just made a whole bunch of them for like a scene outside of my house for when like everybody walks by, all the kids walk to school. And I just had fun doing that. And I ended up using a bunch of that stuff for like some of my short films because it looked good. But I'm big into all that. Like, I like that kind of aspect of the film scene too. Like you said, you're getting into like also the the lacerations and the cuts, and like that's an art in itself because you're making layers upon layers of makeup and you're making it look real. You're cutting, but it's not really your flesh, but you got to make it look like it is, and it's an art to that too.
Yep.
Even everything, it's all an art how you do it. And, like I said, your first time you do these things, it might look really shitty. These cuts might look fake. You might see blood before the blade hit the body. All these little things happen, but then, like, eventually you get it down pat and everything just looks smooth and the lighting's right. It's like, damn, that looks good. Okay, good. We're there.
Yep.
Um,
That's how I feel about it.
But no, I'm excited. And let me ask you now, you said you did a film on Georgie. What was the premise of that? How did you obviously we see Georgie die like in the first 5 minutes of all the
Yes.
So did you go back with Georgie like prior to in his life? Did you go
No.
What happened to him down the drain?
Without giving the movie away because it ain't out yet.
Yeah, don't give it all.
Let's just say that during a paranormal research ritual, trying to contact the dead, Dr. Ross, which is one of our lead characters in the film, he decides to try to reach out to somebody, and he wanted to reach out to use something physical from that person to reach out to him. And after some debate, he realized that his Aunt Beverly just happens to have something from a tragic event that happened to her as a kid. So she brought over 2 silver earrings and gave them to him, and
Oh,
with their little research and ritual, they were able to conjure Georgie back from the dead. And according to Georgie, uh, he's not clowning around, and he's ready to make you float. So
that sounds awesome. It sounds like you took in multi genres and multi kind of films, tied them together in a way that is really unique. I like that
that's
idea.
that's what our goal is for like our fifth or sixth movie is a movie called The Institute, bringing all of my movies that are paranormal and a little bit more oddball and off the tracks that people would not know who to call at the police station if they seen this. Kind of like an X-Files group.
Yep.
And so with all my movies, they'll have a tie-in to something that they will be interested in to investigate it or look into it or give their advice on it. So that way, when I tell that movie, you've already established these characters. You already know who they are because you've seen them before. And it also keeps the genre of keeping my past films still alive by telling something of those films in the next film. Like in Georgie, our reporter, Lynn Parker, mentions it's just been 1 year ago today that we just had the Jason watch here in Indianapolis, and it looks like our city is once again at another tragic event with a boy named Georgie. So,
Kind of like Final Destination 2, where it's been like 1 year since Flight 187. It's like you
yep,
tie it back into the old. It's like, oh, wait a minute. And
yep,
even if someone didn't know, they're going to be like, oh, what was that year ago with Jason? And they'll look you up. They'll be like, wait, oh, there's a movie called Jason in Indianapolis. Let me check that film out. It's a good way to get people to watch your old stuff too if they haven't. And it's a good way for the people to get a nod that have.
and like with like I have certain stuff up here, like from the movie, like this right here.
Yep.
So this was in the movie. We used this in the film, and so like in the when we do the institute, they'll have this in a glass case, and they'll be like, "Yeah, this is something we recovered. We were able to find this, and we were able to find one of these right here. It was all busted up, so we kept it, and this is paranormal. There's
Almost like
paranormal
an
stuff in there.
SCP Foundation coming through these case files, looking at them and being like, these are all
Yes,
like cursed or haunted items. We're going to take these into confiscation, keep
yes,
them safe,
exactly.
keep people safe. No, I
Kind of
like
like the
that.
Conjuring. We got our own little
Yeah.
safety vault.
Yeah, I like that. Like I said, the people that have seen all your films by the time you get to the institution will be able to pick out all these kind of little obscure items that have been throughout these films. Be like, oh, that was there, that was there, that was there.
Mm-hmm. Like we got, like I said, I got two originals that I'm deciding on what to play with, and then I'm making two shorts in the spring. I'm doing uh two small horror shorts. One's about a Jack in the Box, and the other is about a female vampire.
Ooh,
And then
very
we'll do
nice.
our full length film at the end of the year.
You got a busy year coming up. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
You look forward to seeing what you do. I am gonna watch your films. The first one that you have out, I'm guessing it's on YouTube.
Yes.
Um, and then you did say the other one will be out. Do you have a time frame when Georgie will be released?
We're hoping we'll put it out sometime in February. Right now, we're dropping the trailers every. I think he said every Sunday or every Monday we'll drop a new trailer, and I think we have two more trailers to go. And so I say 3, maybe 4 weeks. Georgie will be out.
Now's the time to do it. You got to ride that Derry train. They do. That
Yep.
show did it phenomenally well for being, first of all, someone that wasn't Stephen King that made it, but B, tying things in and making a universe way bigger.
Well, it was
Showing
bigger.
the length of it.
I'm a Stephen King aficionado. I have dived into his stories. I wrote a thesis on it in college. So what Derry is doing what I did. They found all the niches and they're tying them all in together, which is basically true. And it all comes back to the Dark Tower. But because of Derry it's based on that one particular part. And like if you've read the Dark Tower books and you've read
When I was in high
every
school,
other
I
story
did.
by Stephen King, and that small little sentence that'll tie you into the Dark Tower or to this book or to that book brings you all back to, like I said, the Dark Tower. And they're doing phenomenal with it. I mean, I watched it. I was like, because I knew Stephen had a hand in it, but he didn't.
Well,
And
all his
I'm,
books were somewhat connected. Like even I think
yes,
one of the characters was like I remember reading, and I never, I mean, I've read a few of the books, but mostly the movies. But like the movies don't do justices. Like
no, they don't.
I was reading, there was a crossover in the book Needful Things with the character.
All those
Um,
characters are in every book of Castle Rock and Derry and Bangor and Maine stories. 13 of
yeah,
them.
you know, and I mean, personally, I'm living in the Storm film right now. It feels like Storm of the Century, but
Right?
as soon as I seen that snow film, I'm like, I'm waiting for that guy to come to my door. But um, no, I like that too, though, and that reminds me kind of what you're doing there. You're taking everything, you're putting it all together, you're piecing it, making it a universe, and Stephen King did a really good job at doing that with his literary work, and I think it transcended okay into film. Not the justice it deserved. I think Gary kind of put it the perspective into it. But there's a lot of other films that could go back and tie themselves back into it if they really wanted to. Um, but again, we're talking about a huge universe.
Yep.
But
That's
then
what I
it's
plan to
also,
do with mine because
and
now
I
I'm going to
like
be
that.
working on everything from this point forward till I move to Alabama in a few years is all original. There's no more tribute films from at least until 2028. And then I plan on bringing Jason back to Alabama. I plan on bringing Michael Myers back. I plan on bringing Michael Myers and Jason together. So, yeah, I've got some concepts in the future. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with Freddy Krueger due to the fact that I don't have the voice for Freddy, and that's why I played Jason, and I can play Michael because I don't have to talk. I can just do their movements. With Freddy, you have to have some voice. You got to
You
have
need
some
one
snap
line as a
on.
voice. Yeah, you need some character there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna find me somebody that can do that voice, and then I might do something with Freddy. But nothing in any time in the future for tributes. It's all original.
No, definitely. But I mean, I think it's a good place to start too. It got you in a realm that, hey, I know how to make a film now. I can make a film. Now I can do my own films. And here we
Yep.
go. And I think that's a good place to be. You
Yeah.
know, some
The
people would say, "Nah, why do the tribute films? Why do this?" Like, well, because even if it never meant to mean anything, and it was just a fun project, and it turned into something way more, then well, hey, it was a fun project that turned into something way more.
plus you get your feet wet and doing things. You get to learn from your mistakes for the next thing, and at least with doing something fan filmed, you don't have to worry about nobody coming and biting you in the ass and saying, "Hey man, take that down. That's stupid. That's retarded. You fucked our film up." You don't have to worry about that because it's exactly what it is, a fan film. You know, I didn't do anything wrong.
Most people aren't gonna have high expectations anyway. They're gonna be
No.
like, this film's gonna suck. Some
Yep.
dude in his basement with the Freddy mask fucking playing Freddy. It's gonna be garbage. And it might not be, but that's just the mindset people have. So they'll just watch it, and if it's better than what they expected, then it's good. If it's worse, then well, it's really a bad film.
That's what
But
most of the reviews on Jason was the special effects could have been better, you know, uh, and some of the blood scenes and some of the kill scenes. But other than that, overall, people say it. They've liked it, so
you
that's
should
all
be
that
like
matters.
you should have been like you should have seen our original cut before they made us edit it. It was brutal, but then they
Oh
made
boy,
us edit it down to nothing. That's what happened to
right?
the real James. They muted those movies beyond belief,
Yep,
you know. But now we got movies like Terrifier out there where they just do whatever the freak they want.
boy. Yeah, I know them guys too. I know the guy that plays Art, and I know the director. I've
Oh
worked
yeah,
with them a
Damon's a
couple
good
times.
guy, and I like Thornton too. I like both of them, and I like the producer, the Levy. I think he did a really good job with Stream, and he did a a Leprechaun film recently that I thought did very well, bringing Ozzy back and Mark there, and throwing some tribute back to an older film. Which again, I have no problem with tributes or even remakes. It's just some of the remakes. It depends who's involved. I
Yep.
like when there's a remake and the original director, the original cinematographer is involved. Like you could tell, when they remade Texas Chainsaw in 2003, that it had some of the original feel to it. That the original cinematographer was on both. Toby might have not been on both, but he was there, and you could see some of the work kind of throw in there, and some of the long shots and everything. It looked and felt similar. When you have the same director or the same team kind of put these films out there, you do get that. Sometimes a new director has a different approach, and sometimes it's just way far off. There's been some, remakes, and I'm just like, I wish they didn't do that. I don't consider that to be really, canon in my book. But I mean, what are you gonna do when it gets to the Hollywood line? It's like they own the rights to that franchise at the point they get to do the remake, so they can do whatever the hell they want with it.
Yep.
And it's
that's
almost
where it
like
goes
a
to
personal
hell.
playground. It's a personal playground.
It is.
I mean, at some point, Rob Zombie was able to do whatever he wanted with Halloween. Jason Blum was able to do whatever he wanted to do with Halloween. But you're just taking me. You like him, you don't like him. I don't think certain films destroy franchises. I just don't watch them. I watch the movies of a franchise that I do like. Some people are like, "Oh my God, they killed the whole thing." It's like, no, they just omit the movie. It's fine.
Yeah.
But we're just about out of time for our episode. Let me ask you, where can folks find all of the info if they want to learn more about you, see your films, what you're doing, what you're up to, and all of that great stuff?
The easiest way, you can search me. Schmucker Productions. That's SCHMUCKER Productions. Google it, Bing it. For my movies, it's the same. Just go to the website. There is a list. The menu's pretty easy to read, and there should be movies in my list on my website, or you could just type it in, Jason in Indianapolis, and the YouTube video will pop up in Google. And other than that, you can search my name too, Samuel Schmucker.
Great. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope
appreciate
you have
it. Thank you.
Great night. We're gonna check out. I know I definitely will, and I know Vic will too. Vic does watch horror, especially with the movies I tell him. But I'm gonna go in tonight and actually watch I'm gonna watch your film on YouTube. I do want to see how it comes out. And I do look forward to Georgie because I'm a fan of that whole franchise. And then I really want to honestly, now I'm really intrigued to see what you do from your own mind. And like you said, that kind of, almost collector kind of, all the stories intertwined. That intrigues me. I'm a fan of anthology. I'm a fan of movies connecting. So keep doing what you're doing out there, man. It's awesome. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Thank you, everybody at home.
Like and subscribe.